Community members, including parents and students, can offer feedback on tenure decisions, which are considered along with the aforementioned factors. Generally, community feedback is provided no later than March, and tenure candidates are formally presented to the Board of Education meeting in April. Here in Bronxville, taken from our collective bargaining agreement, the board will base its tenure decision on consideration of whether the candidate is worthy of permanent appointment in a school of excellence in accordance with approved evaluation procedures. Tenure will be granted by the board only to candidates who have demonstrated outstanding ability and who have met the highest professional standards. In addition, the board will give careful consideration to the supervising administrator's appraisals of demonstrated teaching skill and success, as you will learn here tonight when each of the administrators provides their insight on tenure candidates. As stated, consideration of tenure reflects both New York State law and the collective bargaining agreement as required. It also includes our North Star, our Bronxville Promise. Since its inception, the Bronxville Promise has not only been a vision for our students, but also a benchmark for which we consider teacher candidates and their ability to be successful in Bronxville. To that end, when making recommendations for tenure, our administration considers some of the following criteria aligned with leadership, innovation, engaged citizenship, and critical thinking. As is consistent with the Bronxville Promise, has the candidate created a safe environment for students to take intellectual risks by trying out new ideas or questioning another's opinion? As our promise aims to develop our students as critical thinkers, does the candidate consistently ask questions that advance higher level thinking and civil discourse and promote metacognition and/or reflection as part of daily classroom routines? As we are committed to developing our students as innovators, does the candidate's practice demonstrate a commitment to student inquiry and student contributions to the exploration of important content? In the candidate's planning, have they designed student assessments that are authentic and allowed, where appropriate, students to contribute to the criteria for success? In addition, has the candidate planned instruction with the learning needs of students in mind and considered from both formative and summative assessments, including qualitative and quantitative measures when designing instruction? As one can tell, the process for granting tenure is guided by New York State law and also includes distinctive measures that are reflective of our Bronxville Promise, our North Star. Tenure decisions are taken very seriously by the administration and provide a wonderful opportunity to celebrate when faculty achieves this important milestone.
Thank you, Mara. Can you please stay up at the podium, and I will ask you to speak about our first tenure candidate this evening, Mr. Brad Ashley, our Director of Technology. Brad, can you walk up to the podium, please?
She's insistent on making me cry. It is with great pleasure that I present Bradley Wells Ashley to you as a candidate for tenure in the Bronxville School in the area of administration as the Director of Technology. Mr. Ashley holds a Master's of Instructional Technology and Media, Math, Science, and Technology from Teachers College, Columbia University. Brad came to Bronxville from the New York City Department of Education in the fall of 2015 as an instructional technology specialist, where he coached teachers to incorporate technology in a purposeful manner into their instruction. Brad's extensive expertise in technology, along with strong understanding of pedagogy and impeccable organizational skills, led him to be promoted to Director of Technology, an administrative position, for the Bronxville School in the fall of 2019. Brad is a leader in every sense of the word, and as such is aware of constantly evolving and innovative technology. This enables him to continually renew his work and help others to do so as well. I have never seen anyone stump Brad when it comes to new technology teachers might use to motivate their students and reignite curriculum. Mr. Ashley's leadership during COVID, including the lockdown, which resulted in remote instruction, to our reopening in the fall of 2020 with hybrid instruction, is simply unparalleled. He worked tirelessly to ensure that teachers were trained in using tools such as Zoom, Pear Deck, Flipgrid, and Screencastify, just to name a few. All of this in an effort to ensure that students and teachers could remain connected and learning could continue. As we entered the building in the fall of 2020, Brad and his team ensured that classrooms were set up with the appropriate technology to teach students across 2 or more physical classrooms, or having some students physically in the classroom and some learning from home. In addition, Mr. Ashley coordinated consent for COVID testing and assisted administrators in contact tracing. There are simply not enough words to describe Brad's contribution during that time, and the administration, the faculty, and the entire Bronxville community remain forever grateful. More recently, Mr. Ashley is ensuring the district remains prepared in terms of cyber attacks by conducting extensive cybersecurity training, including education and phishing campaigns for our staff. He also ensures our students' personally identifiable information is protected by confirming that all third-party technology vendors are compliant with Education Law 2D. He has taken a leadership role in helping parents to understand how to keep their children safe when using social media and practicing good citizenship. Additionally, Mr. Ashley led the development of our K-12 computer science curriculum, where students begin to learn coding in elementary school and continue to progress through courses such as Advanced Placement Computer Science A and Advanced Placement Computer Science Principles through high school. These classes simply did not exist before Brad came to the district. Brad also teaches after-school courses to our faculty, and as a result, over 100 teachers are Google certified through both his Google certification levels 1 and 2 courses. Many of our faculty consider this the highlight of their professional learning. More recently, he is assisting administrators like me and faculty on how to incorporate artificial intelligence tools such as ChatGPT into our curriculum in ethical and supportive ways. Mr. Ashley is a consummate professional and an indispensable member of our leadership team. He embodies the disposition of the Bronxville Promise, often serving as our chief innovator. Therefore, it is my sincere pleasure to recommend him for tenure in the area of administration as the Director of Technology, effective October 28, 2023.
Thank you, Laura. Will the board please consider A, under administrative tenure recommendations? The resolution is up on the screen.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Joe came to us in the summer of 2020 in the midst of a pandemic. He was innovative, demonstrated extraordinary leadership, remained calm, thought critically by creating new possibilities for our athletes, and communicated effectively to his colleagues, our parents, and our students while guidelines continuously changed during the pandemic. Joe expects a high level of performance from all of his coaches. He coordinates the schedules for all the sports teams, continues to work tirelessly on transportation, which is always an issue. Joe has been instrumental in helping us secure our first athletic trainer. He found the very best contracted athletic trainer and strongly advocated for her to become an employee. He's also advocated for a new space to be constructed, and our Bronxville School Foundation provided a grant to make that happen this spring, which has really changed the game for our athletic trainer. His advocacy was comprehensive and compelling, which resulted in the Board of Ed approving her position, and this has given us, along with the new space, greater flexibility in scheduling and caring for our athletes. I think the key is to know that for Joe, his top priority is always the kids. Joe meets with his coaches at the end of each season for the purpose of reviewing and giving them feedback for areas of improvement, he himself being a coach of our coaches. And I think the perfect example of Joe's commitment to our athletes and adaptability is when last spring he was willing to step up and coach our girls varsity lacrosse team, which also won the state championships with Joe as the coach. Joe wanted no accolades for taking on this additional responsibility, but he continues to care deeply about those athletes following our graduates. For instance, he told me this weekend Bridget scored 7 goals in the Amherst game. Keeps me up to date. So it is without hesitation that we recommend Joe Haven for tenure as athletic director of the Bronxville School.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Will the board please
thank you.
consider B, resolution B, to grant tenure to Joe Haven?
Motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind staying up at the podium to speak about one of your high school math teachers, tenure candidate Aaron Ginsberg. Come on up.
It is with great pleasure that I present Aaron Ginsberg to you as a candidate for tenure in the Bronxville School in the area of secondary mathematics. As a former Marine who served diplomatic missions in the UAE, Israel, Cuba, Qatar, Iraq, and Afghanistan, Aaron brings a dedication and work ethic to bear every day in what he does at the Bronxville School. Aaron is a dedicated educator who incorporates technology expertly as a tool for instruction and assessment. He's constantly seeking to improve his practice through professional development and feedback from colleagues and supervisors. Most importantly, he cares deeply about our students and ensuring their success in mathematics. In addition to his work in the classroom, Aaron has been engaged outside the classroom through modified sports coaching, as well as supervising the middle school math club. Mr. Ginsberg's incorporation of Desmos into his instruction is innovative and extremely effective, and this is a technology tool. He's able to use this and the data that comes from Desmos to drive instruction, and the way he does this is a model for how to incorporate technology in a way that supports student learning and provides immediate assessment data that can be used to adjust instruction from moment to moment in his classroom. In addition to technology, Aaron utilizes physical manipulatives in the classroom to help students visualize concepts. These hands-on activities require critical thinking and aid visual learners in the acquisition of mathematical knowledge. In addition to his immediate teaching responsibilities, Aaron has been expanding his experience with computer coding in order to allow us to extend in the high school our ability to offer computer programming to the increasing demand that our high school students are expressing for coding and computer programming classes. Thanks, Brad. Aaron Ginsberg has been a team player since he started. He began during the height of COVID as teachers, particularly those of mathematics, struggled to provide students with instruction and support. He's proven to be dedicated and has committed himself to his classes and his students. It is my pleasure to recommend him for tenure in the area of secondary mathematics.
Thank you. Board, please consider item D, tenure for Aaron Ginsberg.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. Purple. Loyalty. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Aaron. Ms. Rakia Adams, elementary school principal, can you please join Ms. Meyer at the podium to speak about our PE and health teacher, Erin Greer. She did spend many years in the elementary school, and then this year she's in high school, so they're gonna team play this.
Yeah. Okay. It is with great pleasure that we present Erin Greer, I know her as Doolin,
I know.
to you as candidate for tenure in the Bronxville School in the area of physical education. Erin joined the Bronxville Elementary School's physical education team in 2019 from the Hewitt School in New York City. She's become a key member of the department, serving in the elementary school as a physical education teacher and now in high school as a physical education and health teacher. Her colleagues have described her as an affable team player. She's been instructional in launching the new health curriculum in the high school, which has required collaboration with colleagues, administration, and transparent communication with the Board of Education, as well as parents.
Erin has embraced the Bronxville promise with her innovative teaching style. She has seamlessly embedded developmentally appropriate fitness education into fun and engaging physical activities both in the elementary and the high schools. Erin has also been instrumental in the development and delivery of our new Health 9 course. She is communicative with students, parents regarding the content of the course, and her well-planned lessons and projects have made it meaningful and informative. Additionally, Erin was instrumental in designing the new unit on puberty for 5th grade students and modeled implementation for colleagues who will teach it next year. Erin continues to be a tremendous asset to the greater Bronxville school community through her dedication to athletics within the district. As a coach of several sports teams, including JV lacrosse for 4 years, modified soccer, and the House Basketball League, Erin has been highlighted as a leader who teaches student athletes the importance of focus, dedication, and resilience in order to achieve their goals. Erin Greer has been a wonderful addition to our district's physical education department. In addition, she's attended professional development sessions with other health educators around the county to learn about innovative and responsible ways to approach health education, demonstrating a commitment to bring the best to our Bronxville students. Therefore, it is our pleasure to recommend her for tenure in the area of physical education.
The board, please consider Resolution E to grant Erin tenure.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. There you go. Yep.
Congratulations. Ms. Christine Dowd, can you please come up to the podium to speak about tenure candidate Lisa Azrael, our high school special education special class teacher. Lisa, please come up to the podium.
It is a distinct pleasure to recommend Lisa Azrael for tenure in the Bronxville School in the area of special education. Lisa is completing her 4-year probationary period, and that she began as a special education teacher with our life skills class in September 2019. This is a highly unique position that demands expertise in teaching young adults with developmental disabilities and behavioral disorders. When hired in 2019, it was a unanimous decision to bring Lisa on board as our next life skills teacher in the high school. Lisa came to Bronxville with 13 years of experience in Teaneck, New Jersey, where she developed their life skills program for students with autism and multiple disabilities. Lisa attained her BS in psychology and her MS in education from Lemoyne College. Later on in her career, Lisa earned her MA in education administration from Montclair State University. Lisa is responsible for teaching the students in our life skills class who require intensive instruction to learn. Lisa coordinates instruction across multiple domains, including students functioning in the area of language, cognitive, reading and writing, math, social, adaptive, fine and gross motor, behavior, as well as pre-vocational and vocational. A critical component of our life skills program is the development of pre-vocational and vocational training through experiences in our community and school-based activities. Lisa has provided extensive community-based opportunities that have resulted in our students being more prepared for life after graduation. Lisa takes the lead on training the staff in her classroom so they too can effectively work with our students. Lisa is a master collaborator and communicator, working alongside related service providers, school psychologists, support staff, as well as collaborating with outside providers when needed. Parent communication and connection is evident in Lisa's daily work. She is quick to reassure parents that she is a partner in their child's education. She connects daily with parents and reaches out to families to help strategize when a child is struggling and to celebrate student success. When thinking about Lisa's work through the lens of the Bronxville Promise, she exemplifies leadership skills in her ability to create and oversee a loving, nurturing environment for both her students and her staff. She is consistently acting and inspiring others to work towards positive outcomes. Lisa shows innovation in her ability to recognize opportunities for improvement and take risks that add value to her program. Lisa's willingness to deepen her understanding of curriculum, behavioral strategies, and skills, and elevate possible outcomes without judgment supports the disposition of critical thinking. Lisa is continually creating opportunities for her students to be engaged citizens in our school and in the greater Bronxville community. Whether it be the distribution of mail for all 3 schools, or helping a local restaurant prepare to receive customers for the evening by setting tables and organizing menus. Her students gain a sense of pride in themselves as active members of the Bronxville community. It takes a specific expertise to work with the students in our life skills class, and Lisa is clearly a master special educator. When I asked a colleague who works very closely with Lisa and her students each day, she shared, "What stands out when I think about Lisa is that she takes an interdisciplinary approach to instruction. She incorporates the students' IEP goals into all their daily activities and work. Her willingness to try new things in program creates ongoing growth for both her students and her staff. Additionally, Lisa creates many novel experiences for her students each day, such as cooking cupcakes for student and teacher birthdays, prioritizing community integration that includes walks to the local grocery store and even at the local ice cream shop, and establishing a daily exercise routine for students' health and well-being. It is all truly impressive." When I asked Lisa what inspires her to continue this work, she shared the following sentiment. "My philosophy from the start of my teaching career has been that every child has something special to contribute to their community. It is my job to figure out that something special, so they can become active contributors to their communities and as independent as possible." Lisa, we thank you for finding that something special in each and every one of your students. And it is with great pride that I recommend you for tenure in the area of special education in the Bronxville School.
Thank you.
Can the board please consider Resolution C to grant tenure to Lisa Azrael?
Could we have a motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Azrael, who is in Boston with our 8th graders, has recorded a few words about Ms. Jessica Liberatore. And Christine, I've asked Christine to stay up at the podium in case this fails. There's Joe. Let's hear him.
Good evening, Dr. Kelly and members of the Bronxville School Board. As our students take a little time here in Quincy Market to eat some lunch, I would like to take this opportunity to recommend with great enthusiasm Ms. Jessica Liberatore for tenure in the area of special education. Ms. Liberatore takes the time to get to know every single student in her class. She works very hard to make sure that she meets not only their academic needs, but their social, emotional needs as well. She comes to us as a very accomplished student in her work as an undergrad at SUNY Cortland and in her graduate work at Manhattanville. Jessica is someone who facilitates student-centered learning. She allows her students to critically think and analyze materials and come up with new ideas for solving problems. She also creates in them an inner confidence and a belief in themselves that allows them to handle any challenges that come their way. She gets to know them personally in a way that she builds that all-important trust so that students know that if they're having any type of difficulty in their learning, they can turn to her and she will help them. Jessica is not only a lifelong learner, but she is someone who accepts challenges and overcomes all challenges when they face her. Her Bronxville journey began not only with the beginning of a new schedule for the middle school, but ended in the pandemic shutdown. Throughout that time, Jessica made sure that she educated and kept in contact on a personal and academic level with all of her students and their families. Through a very difficult time, she navigated them towards success. This exemplifies what Jessica Liberatore is all about to Bronxville middle school students. Jessica has had experience teaching grades 6th, 7th, and 8th, and she develops those incredible relationships with her students. Students that she has had in the past often come back from the high school years to say hello to her and to make sure that she knows how much she has meant to them in their learning. Jessica is a leader of our Sunshine Committee at Bronxville Middle School, and this is where we take time to celebrate our teachers and staff and their accomplishments and also to support them during difficult times. Jessica truly brings a morale and a spirit to our staff that really truly trickles down to our students each and every day as well. She is a leader among her peers, and she is someone that a principal can turn to for advice and counsel when needed. Parent communication is very important to Jessica, and she is someone who always keeps the lines of communication open with parents. This allows them to understand what is happening in school and also allows her to learn of any concerns that are coming from the home. In the end, the result is a successful student, confident and ready to do what needs to be done to be successful. Bronxville Middle School is very fortunate to have Jessica Liberatore on our team. She is someone that we truly can rely on, and she is someone that truly loves students and loves what she does for a living. Again, it is my humble request that she be granted tenure, and I look forward to working with her for many, many years to come. Thank you.
So would the board please consider Resolution F to grant Jessica Liberatore tenure?
Can we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you, leadership team, for playing such an integral role in the process and also in tonight. And thank you to the board for humoring me.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I would like to move over to the personnel agenda. First resolution I'd like you to take separately, and that's the resolution to accept the resignation of Franco D'Alessandro as high school English teacher.
could we have a motion to accept that resignation?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. As you, Susan, had mentioned in the beginning of the meeting, our high school social studies teacher, Martin, was in a serious car accident. Thank goodness he is well on his way to recovery. We very much look forward to welcoming him back in the fall. But this was yet another moment where I'm just so proud to be a part of the Bronxville school community. One, to have the board's support to make an exception and to allow his colleagues to donate sick time so that he can continue to be paid through his recovery and therefore continue to have his health insurance. So the board's support was critical, and then to have well over 120 employees step up to donate, even though he did not need nearly as many of those days. So it is, quite powerful to have yet another example of how giving and caring this community is. And we are in the process of collecting money, and so if anyone is interested in sharing in that donation, please do reach out to Dana Landisman, our social studies curriculum leader. As a result of the unexpected absence, we did have his department members step up immediately to be willing to teach his classes for the remainder of the school year so that our students continue to be well cared for. So you will see resolutions on this evening's agenda to compensate the teachers for their time. In addition to the side letter that you had verbally reviewed and approved to allow his colleagues to donate sick time. In addition, you have before you a teacher aide resignation, a teacher aide short-term leave for child rearing. We did have a teacher resident resign, and we have one for you to consider to hire in his place, as well as a few substitute teacher appointments, and then 3 minor changes to the spring coaching roster. So I would ask you to consider resolutions B through N.
If there's no questions, is there a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Terrific, thank you so much.
Thank you. And Mr. Carlin, I believe we're ready.
Yes. We'll start with the last piece of open business with the 2021-22 independent audit. And that's the audit report for compliance for each major federal program. This is also known as the single audit. And although the data and the accounts were part of our previously accepted audit, we are required to file to the federal government this audit independently. It's required to be filed if we receive over $750,000 in federal aid in a fiscal year. And it was prompted this year through the COVID aid that we received. Usually our federal aid is in the $500,000 to $600,000 range. This category also includes the IDEA funding for special education grants and the title grants for educational improvement. As anticipated and previously reviewed, the only finding in the audit was the same finding regarding audit readiness of our account reconciliations that was reported with the general audit. The action plan is the same in this finding as it was for the overall audit as well. The board is required to accept the audit and the action plan. Once accepted, I will file them with the federal government, and we will begin preparation for the 2022-23 audit in June. The action plan of deconsolidating our disbursement accounts for more immediately and timely reconciliations has already been implemented. So with that, we need the board to accept the audit and the improvement plan.
Are there any questions that haven't already been answered.
I guess, there's just one finding here, Dan. Is this normal? I mean, this is government audit. It's different than what we usually have.
It's not abnormal to get a finding. Usually we don't get many.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's certainly, within the realm of, with acceptable audits.
Well, they're kind of paid to find things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what they're paid to do, so.
And this was an area that we actually wanted to improve ourselves in terms of,
Yes.
so it reinforced what we needed to do anyway.
Any other questions? Could we have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. As for the financial summary for the current year, as we close the 9th month of the fiscal year, not much has changed on the expenditure side. I continue to reflect small surpluses from salary and contracted services lines, but significantly smaller than in recent years. We continue to make some transfers to help with some inflationary challenges. I'll be looking forward to, closing out this year because, it's been a challenge. But we should see some small expenditure surplus by year end. On the flip side, it's kind of a night and day version. Expenditures were tough, but revenues are exceedingly strong. They continue to substantially exceed the budget as non-resident tuition and projected interest income lead the way. The revenue picture sets us up nicely to project at this point about a $1.2 million surplus. So when you consider the $500,000 allocation to offset next year's tax levy in the adopted budget, our reserves should go up at least $700,000 or so, which that gives us a shot at continue to get to where we need to be as far as the construction reserve and the teachers retirement system reserve.
Where will that put us on the construction reserve projected?
It depends what the finance committee recommends and the board does in June. But, if we add another, if we put all of that into the construction reserve, that will get us, well over 3 million, put us approaching 3.5 million.
Mm-hmm. And so just to recap for our benefit, part of what's driving the voter proposition on that reserve is because, strangely, the cap on it, if once we spend it, we don't get to go back up to that cap. It's cumulative.
It's cumulative.
So in other words, we're almost creating a new reserve so that we can set aside money for future capital projects.
Which is very timely because we heard at the last meeting, there's a big list with a 100-year-old building of, last bond project addressed some infrastructure things, but also addressed a lot of enhancements. I think the next the bond issue will almost completely be just maintaining what we have.
Yeah. So we're really just asking for the authorization to save extra surplus toward reducing that future debt burden.
So that we can plan to have even budgets and not have a whipsaw effect.
Okay. Thank you.
There are financial action items. We do have one. We have an off-cycle foundation grant for National History Day Post-Pandemic Research Phase 2 for $10,200.
And this is, we've had this before. This is a continuation of another, this grant request has been made before and used successfully, correct? Yeah. That's great. So any questions? So this is to provide funds for students, for example, who are gonna, for their project, are gonna make a film, to get some outside expertise on filmmaking, as an example. It's a really great resource to have. Very thankful to the foundation for making that possible, and written by a student, right? Yeah. If there's no questions, could we have a motion and a second?
Motion or second?
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
We now move on to the reason this meeting is on a Tuesday night. With the vote on the BOCES administrative and capital budget, and any open BOCES seats for election. As a component member of Southern Westchester BOCES, we are assessed a portion of their administrative and capital budgets based on our enrollment as a percentage of all the BOCES component districts. That figure for Bronxville for next year is $287,196, compared to about $280,000 the prior year, which is a 2.41% increase. This figure is included in the budget that we adopted last month for next year, and we'll be voting, the taxpayers in Bronxville, or residents, will be voting on next month. Each district is required to vote on the BOCES administrative and capital budget, and if the budget were defeated, BOCES would be limited at their prior year budget. Other than these payments, we use BOCES for all facets of technology, financial, student information software, hardware, network management, firewalls, backing up, etc. We use them for transportation management, for professional development, for athletics scheduling and officiating, for recruitment and other HR services, and some occasional special education and career and technical services. And a host of other smaller cooperative services, which total over $2 million. We in turn receive about $700,000 in BOCES aid against these expenditures, for a net cost of about $1.3 million on an annual basis. In my opinion, BOCES has been a valued partner, at least over the last decade, and past boards have kind of taken a look at BOCES administrative and capital costs, and if they've been in line with how our budget has moved, they've been supportive. And we are also required to vote on the BOCES board candidates as well.
I attended the BOCES meeting last week. I heard all three candidates speak. I believe they're all three incumbents and very knowledgeable and very engaged with the work of BOCES, so they all sounded quite qualified to me. I would recommend that we vote to approve them. As for the budget, again, this is something, at least personally, I wouldn't have had a whole lot of awareness of the role of BOCES before becoming a board member. We're contributing $287,000 to their almost $13 million administrative budget. Their program budget is over $200 million, and that enables them to provide services to all districts in Southern Westchester, and they also run adult education programs and bill those services out. So I know we've all had a chance to review their budget. I don't know if there are any questions. You were supposed to give them to me before I attended that meeting. So it's too late.
So I've had questions on their budget for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
6 years. And I still just struggle with this retired benefits. I was going through all the material and stuff. Did they talk about it? Like why this is just, it's half their budget. Did they talk about it?
The administrative budget, yes. They
Well,
did.
a lot of the other stuff's a pass-through, so.
Yeah, they're required to put retiree benefits for all their employees in their administrative budget. So, all of their different programs, or special education programs, technology, it would be nice if they could budget those costs in those programs and have them paid for in there, but the law says they have to be in the administrative budget. So it's really just a consolidation of those costs.
And philosophically, do you think that's to keep their services more affordable?
I think it's more of a transparency issue to let everybody know how much retiree costs, are part of what districts support.
Yeah.
But just so I understand the retiree number, that is people that worked in this organization at some point, strip out that piece of the $7 million budget. At one point, they were part of the $7 million.
Yes.
So that would be like our district that has $50 million cost, 25 is retirees? Is that apples to apples?
No.
And why wouldn't it?
This would be the annual cost. If you want to move it to, if you look at us, if we're paying for approximately, I think, 220 health insurance contracts, probably half of those are retirees, maybe a little less than half. So if our health insurance costs are somewhere between around $4 million, our retiree health costs are probably in the $1.5 million range. So I think it's more
Look at it
applicable.
that way.
That's
the
more of a
overall
comparison.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see they actually got a increase that's actually somewhat acceptable versus prior years where they're growing their budget at 3 times our budget. I guess the other thing, and just to make sure I understood it, I think you answered this question last year. Our percent has been increasing. Is that because our enrollment, I mean, it's decreasing a little bit. Is it all of Westchester?
It's decreasing at a slower rate than all other districts combined. That's it. Anytime our increase is higher than what their overall increase, that's, math tells you that's the explanation.
That Westchester.
There's some districts
student population is really shrinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is kind of on a 2-year lag as well. They're looking at the Arwada, I think probably from 2 years ago when they do this.
Yeah. 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arwada.
The average daily attendance.
Something weighted average.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Thanks, Mike, for keeping that top of mind. Could I have a motion and a second to approve our contribution to the BOCES? Well, we're approving their budget and we're approving the trustee candidates.
Take them separately if you don't mind.
Okay, so budget first, please. Motion and a second.
Peter,
Second.
Sherry?
All in favor?
Aye.
And for the 3 candidates, do we have to vote on each candidate?
No, you can take them together,
Okay, 3 candidates.
provided you all agree on the 3. Peter, Sherry? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Dan.
Well, I'm still with you, so moving on to facilities. As a follow-up to the presentation last month of our 5-year facilities plan, we've received a proposal from our architects, Lamb Associates, for the design and cost estimating services regarding the flood pump canopy structure that we discussed. At their standard hourly rates not to exceed $5,000. When Rachel and I discussed this with them, we discussed a good, better, and best approach to this. So, give us costs so we can determine what we want to do. Give us a design and a cost with kind of looking at just almost like a big tent, 4 steel poles with a canopy on top would be good. Better would be, kind of the same thing, but with a metal roof. And best would be, you know, a brick surrounding the structure, kind of like we hide the chiller around the other side on Meadow Avenue, with a steel roof as well. And the roofs would have to be steel because they need to be easily removable if we ever need to get a crane in there and get a pump out. You know, so we can't put a more permanent roof on there. It would, or they'll give us options, I guess. You know, that's up to them.
And they'll give us drawings?
Yes.
Okay.
And if approved, we'll be moving with land to have this done as soon as possible.
Okay,
Within a
and
month or two.
what does that mean? Like, when do you think they would?
I'd give them maybe 5 or 6 weeks probably to get this done. So I think, you know, we'd probably have options to look at with the facilities committee before the end of the year.
Okay.
Did they give you any ballpark figures for good, better, best?
Oh, no. No, I tried to get ballpark figures from them. Well, yeah, we're not gonna hold you anything, but about how much are we talking? And,
So,
well,
is that first option, is it actually a tensile fabric pavilion?
Yeah,
I mean, this is something that's supposed to protect the pumps during periods of like high wind, so it's hard to imagine I'm no architect.
I think the thinking on that is even more than rain. Sun is as bad as anything else.
Okay.
So it's really not to waterproof them or anything. It's just to get the sun off of them.
Okay.
But you know, I think our goals might be a little more than that.
Okay.
But we just want to see. You know, we may not be able to afford more than that, depending on what they come in at.
Someone had asked if the manufacturer of the pumps had spec'd.
Yes, we are talking to them.
Yep.
We have not heard back the answer to Peter's question yet.
Okay.
But I'll relay that to the full board when we get that back.
Okay.
And it will be, you know, we'll of course let Land know what they recommend. And if anybody has successfully done this, that will be, you know, information that we get supplied to Land.
Okay.
So they can look at.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Dan. So we need to approve the $5,000 payment to the architects to flesh out these, not to exceed 5,000, to flesh out these 3 options. May we have a motion and a second, please?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Yeah. And are we on other action items?
Athletic mergers.
Yep. We have a few other action items. We have athletic mergers in girls swimming and diving, girls volleyball, boys and girls skiing, boys swim and dive, ice hockey, and softball. You know, we're a small district and we like to offer our students as many athletic opportunities as we can, and mergers have been a very successful way of doing that. And so Joe's arranged these mergers from next year, and you know, we've actually you know, just today worked out a deal for our divers to not have to go up to SUNY Purchase anymore. We can send them up to Hommocks and Mamaroneck, which is closer and a better situation overall. So we're constantly looking for opportunities and to improve opportunities.
What's the significance of the host?
It's really more of a financial thing. You know, we pay the coach and then bill everybody else for their share.
Okay.
That's it.
Is there any additions or deletions from sports this year versus
I
past
don't
year?
think so.
Really? That's the same list we've seen.
Any further questions? Can we approve them all together? Could I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
And it's very timely that Mr. Mercora reported to us from Boston, because apparently he's going to go down to Williamsburg again. You know, this is the 8th grade class that kind of got pandemic out of all the good experiences, and we have an opportunity to send them down to the Williamsburg trip they missed. So, you know, we're all for doing that.
Any questions? Could we have a motion and a second to approve the Williamsburg trip for the 8th graders?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And that concludes our agenda, I believe. Before we go into public comment, just a reminder that our next regular meeting is May 4th. The annual, please come out and vote on May 16th for, to fill the seats of Jen Russo and Mike Finley, and it's great to see some of the candidates here. We'll have a late night special election after, or special meeting after that election to accept the results. And please don't forget to join us at the June meeting to celebrate our quote-unquote new superintendent. So with that, is there any member of the public who'd like to speak? And I'm getting the signal that there are no comments in the TV land place.
Well said.
Wherever that.
Can you help her with that?
Brad came up with that term.
All right, then can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah, that's it.